Listen closely for a twist that will leave you questioning the shadows of the wilderness. Under the soft glow of the setting sun, my boyfriend and I ventured into the heart of the wilderness, seeking solace in its secluded depths. This was our inaugural journey as a duo, diverging from our past ventures that were buoyed by the presence of friends. As we alighted from our car, a shiver of foreboding grazed my spine, an omen I elected to ignore, fixated on the promise of an intimate retreat within the familiar wilderness where I had previously sought refuge. As we made our way toward our chosen spot, I felt the familiarity of the path under my feet, with memories pointing us towards several hidden retreats. While we were looking for the perfect place, I noticed someone else camping up on the hill. To keep to ourselves, we picked a spot a little out of sight, tucked away, but we could still hear distant voices floating down from the trail. As night began to fall and we got settled, the daylight slowly disappeared into the forest shadows. While I was looking for firewood, someone suddenly appeared out of the evening light, offering to sell us firewood for $10. It was strange and a bit unsettling, especially since we were surrounded by trees. He said he had picked the area clean of firewood over the last few weeks, which I found odd. When I asked him about how long he'd been there and the voices I heard earlier, his story started to fall apart. His responses were all over the place, suggesting he wasn't just looking for a quiet place to stay, but was caught in a mix of desperation and lies. He told us about his journey from Pennsylvania to Lexington, and finally to these woods, painting a picture of someone running away to a place where the lost and forgotten find themselves hiding. His story was a mix of truth and lies, showing a man tangled up in his own stories. When we saw his camp, it was filled with more stuff than one person would need, suggesting he wasn't alone after all. The place he chose to camp, high up with a view over the wilderness, looked less like a personal choice and more like he needed to keep an eye on things. As darkness wrapped around us, his unwelcome presence loomed like a shadow over the warm light of our campfire. Despite my attempts to politely send him on his way, an uneasy feeling lingered, setting the stage for a night filled with the haunting sounds of rustling leaves and breaking twigs. It was as though the forest itself was murmuring cautions about hidden eyes in the darkness. As twilight wrapped our campsite in its gentle embrace, a sudden scream pierced the evening's calm. This human cry, filled with terror, seemed starkly out of place against the wilderness's peaceful backdrop. It cut through the silence, leaving an air of tension. This unexpected outburst amidst the natural serenity deeply unsettled us, suggesting hidden fears and mysteries lurking within the gorgeous, tranquil exterior. Overwhelmed by a deepening sense of fear, we made the decision to quietly flee into the night, leaving behind our tarp as the silent marker of our rushed exit. But then, his voice broke through the silence, taunting our hurried goodbye with a sinister farewell of his own. It was a chilling reminder of the hidden dangers that skulk in the dark corners of the wilderness. We weren't merely escaping from a man. It felt like we were trying to get away from the very notion of violence that seemed to be woven into his every word and action. We had this gut feeling that he wasn't acting alone. As the first light of dawn painted the sky, we found ourselves reaching out to the rangers, longing for some sense of normalcy in the midst of all that wilderness. However, as we detailed our eerie encounter to the rangers, their expressions shifted to alarm and recognition. "You're lucky to have gotten away," they said gravely. "The man you described is wanted for multiple murders. He escaped from an asylum nearby not long ago," they added. Their words sent a shiver of terror through us, transforming our mysterious visitor from a figure of mystery to a very real and dangerous fugitive hiding in the depths of the forest. That wraps up our story for today, and if you've enjoyed our journey together, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We share new stories 2 to 3 times a week, and we'd love for you to stay tuned for more.